Oh, there's our fossil mount. Okay, go outside and bring in the crates for the fossils to the cleaning station. Where's my cleaning station? Let's see what this is. Cleaning stage in prep room 2. Can I get through there? That's the exhibition. Put crate in stone cleaning station. Oh, right. Press E to enter station. Alright, so now we cut the plaster jacket off. Can I tilt this thing? Rotate camera horizontally is what I'm doing. I can't get around on the other side. Okay, let's try to do that angle. Okay. Wish. That's not how you do it. I haven't had to remove too many plaster jackets in my time, to be fair, so I just don't think you'd smash it like that. Now, depending on the type of rock that this is in, you might want to start using a drill to drill away the rock around it. Or if it is something that's held together by a cement like calcium carbonate, then you can dissolve that with hydrochloric acid. So you can put this whole rock in a vinegar sort of solution and let that dissolve away the cement, so the grains of sand or mud or whatever that were being held together by that fall apart and release the bone, but you put glue over the bone to keep it together. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, yay, look at that skull. I don't want to, you just don't, no. Oh man, you don't just whack it with a hammer. And especially position this rock differently so that it's not going to fall on its face first. You'd be wanting to set this bone with glue, like Molotol or some sort of glue like that. Oh, I don't like this at all. Oh god, the neck's still attached, the vertebra. So the cervical vertebra and like the atlas and the axis are probably hidden under here. And then you've got cervical vertebra 1, 2 and so on. Beautifully preserved. It's making me wince watching it roll around. Oh no. No. Oh, look at those bits of bone that are just going to snap off. What's the difference between prep room and manual clean? Prep room? Is that where the drilling is? Alright, clean bones manually or send them to co-worker. Oh, I wanted to clean it. I didn't want them to get sent to a co-worker. How do I get out of this? Ah, there we go. So actually coming in from the field, the first thing you'd probably be doing is, well, bringing the boxes inside, but then sitting down here and transcribing all the information that you need to say that these particular specimens have come into the collection. So when you're out in the field and writing down notes as you're digging up these rocks and drawing sketch maps of where everything was positioned, taking photos, that sort of thing, you also are giving that rock, we would give that rock or that fossil a ID number so that you know this is, say its fossil site is called XYZ Quarry, and then that's rock number 1, so you might call it XYZ001 or something like that. Each museum will have its own convention for numbering systems and that sort of thing. And then when you come in, you type into the computer exactly how many specimens you found and what their numbers are, so that you can keep track of them. So then if somebody wants to know, if you want to know where something is, you can say, oh, specimen 001 is in the cleaning room, the prep room. Specimen 002 is in the rock lab, and so on. That way you don't lose track of things, especially when you've taken photos of these things in the field and it will look like, you know, a big rock with a bit of bone sticking out of it. And then when you come here and remove the jackets and start to prepare the specimen and get rid of that rock, it's going to look completely different. It's going to be a different shaped rock, and you need to know what rock that fossil came from originally in the field, so that you can sort of piece everything back together like a puzzle, essentially. And so you'll have the fully prepared bone that you know what it is, you know what it looks like, and you can get your fossil locality map back out and your little sketch drawing of the fossil site and know where that bone was sitting in the ground and in what direction it was facing as well. So one of the things you do with jacketing specimens, or even just working with big concretions, is writing not only the name of that specimen, like the number on the rock itself or on the jacket, but also north, so you know which way that rock was facing. And that can be important later if you're trying to piece together a skeleton and know that all the bones that you've got actually did come from the one animal, or maybe they came from another and there's another fossil out there that you need to go back and find. Okay, I'm going to click manual clean because I want to clean it. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of represented here. So I've got now a little tag Ornithomimus right hand bones. But yeah, you'd also have a specimen number, which obviously isn't as interesting in the game to maybe do. But all right, now this is where we're drilling. I haven't had to drill too many specimens in my time. You just have to be so careful. And also start to familiarize yourself. So it's a really good idea to grab a bit of the rock that I chipped off from before that you know, or are pretty sure there's nothing in it. Grab that bit of rock and use that to drill on, because then you can get an understanding of how tough is this rock, how much time do I need to apply the drill in a particular area for it to start to chip and crumble away, or is it not going to chip and crumble away? You just don't want to go too quickly and start drilling into the bone, because it's really important when you're looking at the surface of the bone, and if you, oh god, is that supposed to, oh man, that makes me cringe. When you're looking at the surface of the bone and you're wondering if there's any little marks on there because some little scavenger might have chewed on the bones, whatever, and then it turns out it was just because the drill bit hit the surface of the bone. And that's sometimes not possible to stop happening. The other thing about this preparation technique is what we're doing in the game at the moment is a thing that is often done, which is getting rid of all of the rock, freeing up the bone, and creating a little pile of bones there to articulate into that skeleton that's standing over in the corner of the room. But it's also really useful not only to take lots of photos at this stage so you can see where the bones are at, but in some cases to actually leave the bones sitting in the rock. Because if you look, I can turn it. If you look here, for example, this is part of the hand. So we already freed up, as it were, some of those claws from the tip of the fingers. But if you kept that rock there, then you could actually keep how all the bones were positioned at the time of fossilization. And again, that could be really important to understand what sort of environment was this animal living in and subsequently dying in. And also, there could be traces of soft tissue, there could be little marks of maybe feathers or something like that that are on the rock that you're drilling away. So I'm not saying it's incorrect to ever drill away all the rock, but you certainly need to keep an eye on not only not hitting the surface of the bone with your drill, but also any other features that you might see in the rock as you go. You might think, oh, this is funny little stripes in this bit of rock near the surface of the bone. You probably have to stop and figure out whether that's a trace fossil, whether that's something that actually belongs to that animal in life. But yeah, this is quite alien to me, the completely removing the rock from these separate, like from these individual bones, when they're all beautifully articulated together. You could leave it like that and photograph it like that, make your technical drawings, and create casts of these bones, and use the casts to create a skeleton that goes on display. Use photogrammetry to get nice 3D models of the bones. I mean, I'm still enjoying myself, but again, I'm just because of the type of paleontological work I'm used to, I'm cringing a little bit at having all of these loose bones flying everywhere. But I don't want to throw shade to anyone who does do this. Okay, let's keep drilling. And this, of course, the game mechanics means that this is a really, really quick process in the game. This could take 6 months to do properly in the real world. And there we go. We're just brushing them. Oh, it looks really rough. I don't want to too coarsely brush them. The idea of finding a complete dinosaur fossil at a site, which can happen, it's not impossible, but it is much harder than you think to like get every single little bone preserved. And I like the idea of my colleagues having been to this site saying, oh, we can't find the right hand bones and the skull and the neck and the hips. And that could just be they're not there, they didn't get preserved. Either they got destroyed before the animal was fossilized, or those fossils were brought up to the surface and destroyed after they were fossilized. So it could just be that you never find them. But I like the idea of we can't find them, so keep looking, they must be there. I mean, you always want to look. Okay, use this glue. Softening matrix. Okay. Oh, okay, so have I drilled down to a point where there's still a layer of matrix on the bone that I'm trying to get off? And this could perhaps then be like a vinegar solution, depending on what was covering the bones. This is actually now really good in showing how tedious the cleaning process can be. So the fact that you've got the bones, and instead of just drilling them straight out of the rock and then being like, yep, done, you've now got your dinosaur bones, they're actually showing, like, we're only 60% of the way through cleaning. Oh, sorry, 45% of the way through cleaning. Overall progress bar down the bottom left. Okay, so yes, there is more matrix. I thought this might have just been really scuddly preserved bone. I mean, it's going to be nearly impossible not to leave some micro scratches on the bones, and so you have to know that this is how the fossil has been prepared if you're going to look at the surface of the bone and try to make any judgment call on whether the bones were gnawed on after the animal died, or whether there was, say, some plant growth around it and root trace marks on the bone, that sort of thing. If you know that that bone has been drilled out of the rock matrix, it's probably not what you're looking at. You also have to be careful drilling around the claws in case the claw sheath was still preserved. So you've got the actual bone of the tip of the finger that is that shape, then a keratin layer on top that forms that outside surface of the claw that makes it look the way it does, like sort of shiny, stripy, and not just like bits of bone sticking out of the end of an animal's hand. Okay, now we're 60% of the way through cleaning. Cleaning small sediment. Okay, washing the bones. Just getting all of that really fine particulate matter off, all the dust and stuff that you've generated from drilling. Depending on how strong these bones are, they haven't included gluing at any stage of this process. Okay. Prep has been completed. Oh, now we get to construct our arm. Okay. So there's a scapula. Oh, I guess it's scapular coracoid. Now goes our humerus. And radius and ulna. Go here. And then the carpal bones, so the little wrist bones. Oh god, they're going to be annoying to pick up. Yes, I'm trying to pick it up. There we are. Okay, there is the completed arm. How it's hovering like that, all put together, I don't know. It's not like the pieces are... I mean, presumably I had to wire them together for that to work. Right, here goes our arm. So there's... Oh, it is the coracoid. It's the scapular coracoid girdle, shoulder girdle there. And so what we need is our ilium, ischium, and pubis bone there, as well as the vertebra that run in between it. So that's the pelvic girdle, is what it's called. And then all these neck vertebrae, all these beautiful, very spiky processes up to the skull, and the scleral ring in the eye, all these beautiful little bits of bone. So if that's preserved in this particular specimen, that would be beautiful. And so this would be, yes, 100% complete dinosaur, which is extremely hard to find. The museum I was doing my internship was getting ready for renovation. I was afraid my classes were about to be cut because of that. I couldn't have been more wrong about this one. Turns out the exhibition hall was being revamped, and I was asked to participate in the redecoration. But that's not all of it. We were also given a second complete skeleton of Ornithomimus. 2 dinosaurs for one display. Well, let's just say all the pictures of dinosaur life I'd studied as a kid came to life in my head. I decided to just give in to my imagination. Right, transport crates to exhibition room. Okay. Oh, now we get to design our own museum. I didn't realize this game. I knew I said at the start we have our own museum. Do we get to build our own or add to it or whatever? But I didn't actually realize that you'd be able to sort of design the whole place. I thought it would just be you find a fossil, you prepare it in the field, and then bam, it goes on display in some pre-allocated position. Oh, beautiful. Take a look at the controls shown in the upper left corner to learn how to change skeleton poses, mirror, rotate, etc. Click on the decoration symbols placed in the lower left corner. You can rotate and scale every decoration or exposition item. If you have more than one exhibitors to edit, you can switch between them by entering design mode. It's the best thing. It's like The Sims plus dinosaurs. Okay. That's how I'm going to leave my exhibit for the moment. It's not necessarily the most beautiful display, but I quite like it. So that is... now I can walk around and enjoy it, of course, from the first person perspective. I wish his foot wasn't disappearing into the sand, but I can see if I can fix that later. That's really cool. You can sit on the bench and have a look at the dinosaurs. I really like that posture there. Very cool. Alright, what's next? That was the last day of my internship. A great adventure just came to an end. The night I was packing to go back home, the telephone in my room rang. It felt almost impossible. The director called me to ask me to stay and help the museum build a bigger skeleton. There was a vacant position because one of the workers got sick. I felt bad for the guy, but I was so glad that there was a chance to work in the museum for longer. The decision was a no-brainer. I went to the museum the next day. Although the place wasn't new to me, this particular moment felt different. It was the first time I was asked to enter the museum's workshop. With my heart pounding and my hands sweating, I walked towards the door. And the doors magically opened and a theme song played in my head. No. Okay. Oh, wow. I've got to admit, the bigger skeleton the director was talking about was indeed a huge one. I was dumbstruck when I faced the legendary Tyrannosaurus. Even in my dreams, I would never fathom that our museum was in possession of such a treasure. Oh, that's awesome. So presumably this is the room that it's going to go on display in, because you wouldn't want to completely assemble it and then put it on a trolley and move it. Very cool. This dude's very tall. And, oh yeah, it's got two fingers. I was going to say it's not a Tyrannosaurus, but it is. And it's got its gastralia, so those belly ribs there. Very, very hard to find preserved in the fossil record in situ. So, let's get to work constructing this creature. I have to say this game's really, really well made. There are plenty of other dinosaur games out there that are not nearly as good. I think you may find one of them on our channel. They're just very, very buggy, and they're full games. But this is a free-to-play prologue of this game before the whole thing is made available. And I haven't encountered any bugs. Like, there are, you know, points, obviously, which it's a little bit difficult to navigate the dig site, and you're sort of trapped in a hole, or you're digging around the rock, and the rock's floating in the air and you can't grab it. But apart from that, everything works. And I really, really appreciate that. It's hard work making these games. Alright, so this is the sacral vertebrae, all as one unit, and often they are fused together, all of those vertebrae. In the hip, it's sort of like one solid structure almost. I mean, the hip bones aren't fused on to the vertebrae, but the vertebrae are fused to each other. Not in every animal, but in lots of them. Okay, that's the last caudal vert. T-Rex is complete. You can exit the museum. There's another thing though. When you walk into the room, you said, wow, amazing. There's oh God, those teeth are really rounded and sort of sticking out. Hang on a sec. Sorry, I didn't notice before that these teeth are sort of floating out of the jaw. They're not actually in sockets in the jaw. But yeah, so when you walked into the room, you said Tyrannosaurus, which is the genus name. And then that notification said T-Rex, so Tyrannosaurus Rex, where Rex is a species. So, yeah, really sort of get... it's not a big problem, but I wish games would either say Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Tyrannosaurid and not swap one for the other. A completed skeleton of Tyrannosaurus Rex looked majestic, and I had an honor to contribute to it. Yet another beautiful moment that has been etched on my memory forever. I graduated from college at the age of 24. I was pretty amped up. My marks were great, so I didn't anticipate any problems in finding a job, but that was about to change soon. For the first 6 months after graduation, my focus was to find a job in the field of paleontology, or at least something that relates to it. I submitted my resume for every paleontologist job I could find, but the jobs were either already taken or I lacked the experience. After 6 months, I started looking for any job, but that also didn't occur easy. I was trying hard, but to no avail. Man, I feel you there. 1 year after graduation, things finally started to turn around, but it wasn't exactly how I imagined it. Okay. In what way is it, I wonder? So we're in another loading dock. Still in the Americas. Can I get through there? No. Do I just go through the garage? Yes. My grandfather left his car workshop to me in his will. I wasn't particularly talented when it came to the automotive world, but I knew a thing or two, and at that time, a thought of becoming a car mechanic was at least something. He had a lot of weird and crazy ideas. There was one time Grandpa brought an old Russian truck, which was clearly beyond a fixer-upper stage, but that didn't scare him. He always used to tell us he'd finally finished repairing it. Unfortunately, his body didn't catch up with his spirit, and he had to pass on his little project. I decided to clean up the workshop for him. Move all the garbage. To where? Can I put it in no, shipping container? No. Do I chuck it in the car so I can drive it out? Where do I put the garbage? I'll just drop it somewhere until I figure it out. Ugh. Oh. Ah, my fossil that I lost. Oh. I found the lost fossil piece that I'd gotten during the school field trip. Despite it being over 15 years, I felt exactly the same mix of excitement and joy that I had felt on that beach years ago. The need for fossil hunting struck me twice as hard. Suddenly, all the problems that kept me from my dreams had vanished. In a split second, I came up with a plan, and the only thing left to do was getting down to it. Ah, thank you for playing. Thanks to your suggestions and feedback, this prologue is better than demo in every way possible. If you want to follow the development of this game, report a bug, etc., join Discord. If you like our work and the passion we put into the game, please support us with your reviews and comments. Thank you. It's already on my wish list, has been for a while. Okay, so that was the prologue for Dinosaur Fossil Hunter. What did you think? I really liked it. I think it's very sweet, and I like the fact that it shows that it's not easy to get a job in paleontology, and it documents that sort of path. I think the rest of the game is probably going to be a bit of a rose-tinted view of the world as far as, you know, then you finally make it when you decide to put your mind to it. But it's a good simulation of what it might be like to be a paleontologist. We don't want the reality version of that. We get to live that all the time. And I think that if you are a paleontologist or someone who's interested in dinosaur fossils and interested in paleontology, you may both equally get a lot of fun out of this game. As a paleontologist, it's really nice to be on a fossil dig in this virtual world where digging up fossils takes minutes and maybe hours instead of weeks and months. So if you want that sort of experience, then this game is definitely for you. And if you just want to get an idea of what it's like to be in a field environment and then also prepping those fossils, and the game does also do a good job of showing that it takes a long time to prep fossils. It takes many, many steps depending on the type of fossils you have. Of course, in the game, again, it's quite short compared to real life, but it's a game. You know, it would be boring if you had to prep the fossil in real time for months. So I really, really like this game. I think it's quite genuine in its love for dinosaurs and paleontology. I'm definitely going to be picking up the full version of the game when it's for sale, and I think you guys should too. And if you would like to see me continue to play through the game, then just let me know, and I can make some more episodes for the Palaeocast Gaming Network. Thanks for watching.